Right, so it's become kind of my trademark to tell people to laugh it out. You don't have an answer, laugh it out, whatever it is. But what does that mean? I get that question all the time. Project, when you realize something doesn't work, something you have some sort of weakness in something, how do you lab against it? And the lab is equipped with so many tools to help you in so many ways, and you kind of have to get creative. And those that have not developed the skills to lab or are not used to sort of labbing an answer, it's kind of counterintuitive to be able to set these things in motion. So I'll tell you this, I was playing ranked yesterday and I found myself getting mashed on all of my strength by people. I'll try to do something into something and I'll get mashed out of, and it's frustrating because I'm trying to get something going. Someone would just start pressing something, and now I'm upset because my things are not working. So if that's you, let's lab this out together. How would I lab how to prevent people from mashing? The first thing is, well, when are they mashing? Are they mashing on my strings? Are they mashing on my setups? I'll say they're mashing everywhere, but particularly on strings. I'll do some stuff, and some stuff have clear gaps, some stuff don't have gaps, and or don't look like they have gaps. So how can I make sure that my opponent is not mashing? And if they are, how can I blow them up for it? The very first thing I like to do is setting up my opponent to press button just to match on my string. So I'll set the dummy settings to block always. You always have a recording settings, and if you notice, it would either play on block, so when they're blocking they will press this thing, so whether that's a set of input or holding something, on reversal or on reaction. Reaction is interesting. It means that when the game recognizes you presses something, they will then do something else, so that's going to help you in other ways. But for now, I'll say on reversal. Reversal is when they block something or they get hit by something, on their first available frame, they're going to do something back. So I'm going to press the one, which is going to correlate it to this recording slot. And when it starts recording, I'm just going to start mashing. It starts recording because the red button over the top starts counting very fast. Right now it's at almost 500. There it is. So I'm just going to mash square non-stop. And so what that has done is so that when I hit, that just reset the, so I'm just going to mash. First it gives you like a 3-second countdown, like, I don't know, however many frames. I'm just going to mash and then just leave it there. Pause, keep that there. What this has done is anytime I hit Cora, the first available frame, she's just going to mash square, which is what a lot of people do anyway. So I'm going to get close to her. So now I'm resetting right next to her. And I'm going to see where in my string am I failing, right? Right here. I'm going to see where in my string am I failing. Right now, notice how I did this string into 2H. So I did AAB 2H. And somehow I got her to stop blocking. Now, did she get hit because she was blocking high? Not necessarily. If you notice, she's blocking everything. And when they turn red, that means that they got hit on counter hit. And on the right hand side, it actually says that counter hit. So you know that she's just mashing, which tells you that if you press mid, or well, M, B, whichever one, triangle, I don't know, whatever notation you guys are having, and then you press 2H, there is a gap, which means that the opponent can do a reversal input. And if it's invincible, like a super or her DP, it might go through the 2H. So I gotta be really careful. Another way to blow up people mashing is to delay your button. I did stand light and then medium. Notice how I'm hitting her trying to mash out. So I'm just slightly delaying my button, ever so slightly. If I delay it too much, just like that, she's gonna mash. So just be careful with that. Anyway, so just like that, you get mashed on. If I do say this, a special that has a gap, I'm gonna get mashed on. However, if it has no gap, there's no mashing. Cool. Then this opens up the door. Well, what can you do then to make your string gapless, to have a string that they cannot do? Well, you gotta look at what button sequence allows you to be gapless. Like this one into standing is gapless, so you can end with a stick, just like that. That was not a punish. I can back that just fine. Or if you're trying to do the slide, you gotta do 2M instead of 5M. Instead of just medium kick, you gotta do low medium kick, like that. And that actually jails into the slide, like that. And then I'm safe. So just make sure you practice your strength, see what has gap, what doesn't, and what you want your character to do at that point. Same thing happens with setups, right? So when you're doing some setups, figure out what works versus getting matched, what doesn't. So like if I do this, oops, there we go. So if I do this, can they get hit for getting matched on? And in this case, they can. What about this one? They cannot on that one. But when I hit him with the slide and I do this, can they match on this? Actually, let me remove the ground recovery off. There we go. That one they can match. This one they can't. Oh, hold on. Why they're still recovering? So reversal, bar, ground recovery. Is this considered air? What? There we go. So notice how on this one they cannot match if I do the stomp, but on Sahir, on the other one, the fire one, they can match. But if I do the slide and I do this, they can match out. And if I do the slide onto this, they can also match out. But I like to do this. If I do the slide, and this is where you can sort of find your answers. I like to jump over immediately and jump kick. Sometimes I'll trade depending on my timing. Sometimes I'll hit him and then he will actually pick it up. Which means this is really good for people mashing. Slide, jump over, jump H. Or well, jump C. Like that. And then I can pick it up with a combo at that point. I like to go on float just in case they block it, so I can do multiple overheads like that. But if it hits, I can get a full combo, whatever that looks like. I like to do something like that, and then they A shit just for mashing. So keep this in mind. Now, let's say they have an invincible reversal. Let's say they, like in the case of Korra. Now I will switch the matching slot to this. Oh, let me do that. Let me reset this real quick. And let me reset the recording. There we go. So now on any gap, it's just going to do. Oh wait, did he just reset it? On. There we go. Now on any gap, it's just going to do that, right? Oh wait, there we go. There we go. And now I can go back to dummy settings and whatever else. See, at that point, they're always going to be doing their DP. And so now what that means is I can take a look and see what that's going to look like. This is going to change some of these things because if they DP, I got to make sure that does this work versus DP, does it not? You know, that kind of thing. See, and at that point I'm still safe. I just jumped over the DP. But more importantly, can my block string still work? Because sometimes, hold on, the gap can be blown up. Sometimes it can make you whiff. So if I have her to block always, notice how I got completely demolished by doing this. But I just delay it too much. But if I don't delay it, I can actually slide under the DP and bait it. So this is what I mean by practicing your out when you're trying to figure out what your weaknesses are, what you're getting hit by. Yeah. Look, she just essentially ate shit for that. And then notice how, so I like to do this also. See, like I was still safe there. And then I can hit him and whatever else at that point. So keep that in mind. And if they're pressing buttons too. So this actually works. This is actually a good example. See how I can hit her right after because she actually didn't hit me with her reversal. Oops. So I can actually use that same sort of sequence to hit him in different ways. Because if she tries to press a button there, so if we switch the recording to just, let me select that second recording to turn it into just mashing square. Right? Then if I go back to dummy settings, if I do this, right, it's gonna mash square. But the same thing is gonna work with me just backdashing like that, where I can hit him. Some of these things you're gonna have to practice over and over. There you go. That way I can get a full combo for them mashing. There you go, just like that. And that way, essentially I'm calling them out, I'm covering both options, them mashing just square or mashing TP. It's gonna be a whole different conversation if they're mashing like EX super or super reversal and they're spending all of their meter and whatever into supers. That's fine. And you can lab against that. But my biggest concern at that point was getting hit by just random buttons. I think I found the answer that I need. I invite you to do the same for your character. And if you have any question on how to lab some of these things, let me know. It'll be a pleasure to help.